Bubbles in the air.
Frankster,
What's happening?
Monday morning, 6th in the Premier League.
Mate, all of those bods around us that are also going for the title drop points. It was an amazing weekend worth of results for us, mate. Tottenham had dropped points. Liverpool had dropped points. It's been blown wide open.
Yeah, I think there was a stat. It's the first time ever that none of the so-called Big Six won at the weekend.
No, no.
United and City
Other than
obviously
us.
drawing.
Other than us.
Well, what a weekend for West Ham, Southampton, Everton and Leicester. Massive
Can
weekend.
we put ourselves in the Big Six yet or not?
No.
I think we're close.
No.
One more win,
No.
and we're in the Big Six.
No. Nowhere near it. Miles off. Still miles off. One injury away from a nightmare.
Huh?
One injury away from a nightmare.
No, don't be silly. We've got depth beyond belief. We've got Dawson and we've got serious buds around us now, mate.
Can he play centre midfield?
He might.
But no, it's positive. Right now, where we are, as long as we don't get no injuries, we'd be all right.
We don't get injuries anymore, do we? We're like...
We don't even get players out last minute operations.
No, we don't need that.
How's everyone in the chat? Hope you're all well.
Before we get involved, mate, I think we need a special shout out and a nice little focus around Arsenal.
Oh, mate, it's amazing. In fact, I've got someone on Twitter at the minute, an Arsenal fan, coming back at me. I just love seeing them like that. I love it. The same fans are now saying, this is what cracks me up, the same fans now are saying that the same players have let down all the other previous managers. You know, them managers that they absolutely hounded and said they were no good, absolutely terrible, this, that and the other. It's the players now. Now, them players that make Arsenal one of the best sides in the league, they tell us. That's why they ain't. That's why they're an average Mickey Mouse club. How did we lose to them?
I know.
How did we lose to them? I know we was robbed out of a penalty, but how did we lose it against them? They are gash.
Yeah, they're bad, mate. And it just don't look like it's going to get better anytime soon. There's not even glimpses of even a little bit of positivity for them, mate. They are lower than I think I've ever known them.
None of them look interested. Did you see the comment last night? Patrice Evra said on Sky about Thierry Henry. He went round Henry's house to watch an Arsenal game, and when the teams come out and Xhaka was leading Arsenal, he turned off and said, I can't watch my team being led by him.
Fair, mate. If your player and captain reacts the way he did, mate, he should have been out the team there and then. Like, that was enough for me. That should have been like, see you later. The way he behaved, the way he acted, that he should never have played for Arsenal again. And
no,
yeah, like we say, mate, they get what they deserve because the way their fans behave and the way they act on that silly channel and all that. I know it's entertainment value and it's a bit of a laugh, but if you behave like that as fans, mate, you deserve what you're getting. Really, to be honest with you.
This is the only thing I'm going to say. The only bad thing about watching Arsenal be so bad now is that channel's getting more and more views and we'll be earning more and more money. Yeah, and I can't stand, nothing against Robbie who runs it, but when you watch some of the dickheads on there, and I know every fan base has got dickheads, probably people that talk about me being one, it don't bother me, but I ain't sitting here threatening to beat up a chair because we've just conceded a goal or someone's been sent off. Let me smash this up, innit, fan blood, get me. Let me do it, I'll pay whatever they do. That's just ridiculous. He's meant to be a grown man. Penis.
Absolute plums, mate, a lot of them.
But I just see a comment on here, just quickly. I see a comment here about Arteta being the next Pep. For me, I feel a bit sorry for Arteta. I think he's doing wrong because I think he's trying to play the perfect game at Arsenal and he ain't got the players that Man City do it with. He needs to do the basics right and he could probably have be a better manager. But he's trying just to be so good with a bang average squad. No disrespect, and I said this to my brother-in-law when I was watching it with him last night, who was an Arsenal fan. You know, and I don't think he's a bad player, Tierney, but they're trying to make him be a player. They're trying to make Bellerin be a player. Combined, I think they're about 20 million quid, aren't they? 30 million quid. Each of Man City's fullbacks are 50 million pound each. There's a reason why them players, they do it with because they're better and they can obviously play it at the right game at the right level. And for me, mate, they're just miles behind Arsenal, miles. And I just think he needs to do the basics right and then move on from there. And it probably then wouldn't be so bad, but he's trying to have it perfect to an absolute gash football club, and I love
They've
it.
got some bang average players, mate. Bang average players, and
Yeah,
you know they're not the Arsenal of old. And like you say, sometimes you've got to do the basics right and then build upon that. Mate, Arsenal have always been a side that used to build from the back, don't concede. You know, the George Graham eras and that. Just build from the back, be nice and solid, be good defensively, and then, you know, worry about the rest to sort of fall into place. So, I don't know, I don't think they'll go down. I mean, there's been a few comments they'll get relegated. Blah. I think it's still too good for that to happen. But we've heard that before.
yeah.
So
I don't think they'll go. And the reason I don't think they'll go, I think they're that big a club. They could go and put in, for argument's sake, Pochettino, if needed, if he'd go there. But they could. They're that. They're not rude. They're not a Crystal Palace. They're not a West Ham. They're not a team like that who's not Everton. A team really struggling. They're not a side like that who could go and pull in a massive name. Arsenal could. They're still a pull, and they have got some players there. But the thing for me watching them, they ain't got any players in there with any fire. And you know what Xhaka done last night? I completely agree, was terrible. And all their fans now, like DT on that channel again last night, saying how he's scum, he's let him down, X, Y, Z, told him should never be near the club. Didn't these fans used to sing about Patrick Vieira week in, week out? One of their players who spat at other players. But that was right. So really, what he's to do with is not the behaviour, it's the ability. That's what they've done, because it was all right for Vieira, because they continued to sing his name. I remember him spitting at thingy at our place. Quite clearly, jumping up, spitting straight at him, Ruddock. No, but after that, he come back. He comes from Senegal, blah, 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 every single week, they sang. That was all right, was it? Because he was good. But because Xhaka reacted, showed a bit of fight and passion, all of a sudden he's the biggest wanker in the world. I think they're a fickle fan base, mate, and I absolutely hate them. And nothing is better than watching them suffering as they are now. To be honest, they're up there with Spurs for me now.
Oh, I'm probably with you with that, and it's not just that, mate. It's the whole thing about them. That stadium is the worst stadium in the Premier League for me. I hate that stadium. It's built on breeze blocks. It looks all pretty from the outside, and it's got some nice padded seats and everything else, mate. But the atmosphere is terrible. The whole thing about that, I'll never go to that away game ever again. I think it's the most poxy away day that there is, mate. Horrible, and everything about that club at the moment, mate, is just there's nothing good about it at all. So it's yeah, it's normally us being a bit doom and gloom, but they are in proper dire straits, mate. So I don't know how they turn it around, but yeah,
Long may continue. Well,
Palace for us, mate. Next, Palace for us. What goes down now?
Tough, mate. To be fair, they looked all right yesterday. They had Tottenham on the back foot for.
A few people said if they play like that, we'll struggle.
Yeah, they did look good, and the only thing I'd say with Palace is Palace ain't ever consistently good, are they? I'm not saying they're a bad side, but they're never consistently good. And we've been consistent this year. I don't think we've been consistently good, but we've been consistent. Palace ain't ever that. And for Palace to win, I think Palace have to be good. I don't think Palace win a match. I know they only drew yesterday, but they were playing Tottenham top of the league. I don't think Palace win football matches being average. And that's the only thing we can. We've proved that. You know, I don't think we was particularly good against Fulham. Got 3 points. I don't think we were particularly good against Aston Villa. Got 3 points. We can beat them being all right. But there's going to be key battles on that pitch for sure. I see Eze and Zaha, I believe, both went off yesterday. Hopefully that's through injuries. Hopefully it ain't through caution. And just to give them a rest because of the game Wednesday, hopefully that's injuries and they're missing because they both look dangerous.
Eze's looking to play, mate, and obviously that was one that was supposedly at the top of our list, and then it wasn't, but it was supposedly at the top of our list. I think we missed a bit of a trick with him, and I think a lot of other people feel the same. He does look like a proper player.
I think you're right, but that was a manager's choice who then didn't rate him.
Apparently so.
Yeah, and Matty Cash. There's a few of them, wasn't there?
There was, mate. Hey, if some of them players that we were linked with and never got over the line, a couple of them, mate, we'd be in a really, really good position now. Because like you said, we are struggling for that little bit of depth. You know, if you've got those players around us as well, we'd be laughing, mate.
Yeah, listen, I'm not writing us off against Palace at all, by the way. I've seen some of the comments. I'm not writing us off at all. In fact, I'm more confident than I'm not. I just think there's there's attributes to Palace's game that could affect us.
I think Kent's just put that, and he's spot on. We won't do them on set plays, and he's absolutely right. You don't take liberties with them at set plays. They'll be very well organised, and if you think you're going to go and get a couple of goals from set plays with Palace, you're wrong. So we look like we struggle to score from open play at the moment, quite badly. So our little trick we've got at the moment with the set plays, it's not going to work against them.
No, I don't say that's wrong, and to be fair, he's put on there about going against dribblers either. I agree, but we know what Leeds do, and I thought we contained Leeds quite well. Leeds ain't the side who go long, that they run at you with the ball. We need to start converting our chances, that's for sure, from open play. You're totally right. Kent's totally right on that as well. And if we can, I think we've got every chance of having a good win, to be fair.
Yeah, and I'm it's nice. I'm going into every game quietly confident. I don't think Palace have got anything crazy. I know they've got Zaha and they've got Eze and that, but mate, we can handle them. We've played sides with better players than them so far this year and come out on top. So there's no reason we can't do the same again. I fancy us going into every game, and it's nice to feel that way at the moment. Does anyone know sort of how long Antonio's got before he can be considered again? Is he still long term at the moment, or is there any chances he'll be back?
I personally ain't heard nothing. I don't know the answer to that.
It's very quiet on that front, isn't it? It's a bit.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be longer than what they want let out there. I don't think it's going to be a case of 2-3 weeks. I think it'll be a 4 or 5 week injury, and I think that's why it's been kept quiet. If he was close, you would be hearing talks of it. We heard talks of Antonio the week before he come back, and then he didn't make the squad, and we've not heard that at all of him back at the moment. So, to be honest, mate, if he's not 100%, I don't want him anywhere near the squad anyway. Even if he's 80%, I don't want him there.
No.
Worst ways, if we do.
What you said, I'd rather leave him until he's right.
Yeah, but if he's only 80%, I'd rather see him feature for the last 20% of the game. Not the first half, first half hour, whatever. First 60 minutes. No,
mate, you're right, mate. So that means Haller up top on his own, or do you think Moyes will try something different?
No, and I've got to be honest, why would he change the team that played Leeds? Be crazy to, in my opinion. Absolutely. With what's available, he'd be crazy to. I can't see any reason wanting to change that. For me, it done everything that you needed.
It seems like 90% of the fan base would make a change, mate, because they don't want to see Haller playing another game for West Ham. So
who plays up front?
I'm with you, mate. But there's loads of options that we could do if we really wanted to. Bowen could start up top with other players around him. This crazy Diop thing that's been going around.
Just with what you're saying, this is where things are wrong. You put Bowen up top, so you lose that work rate and what he gives you out on the right. What are you going to do? Replace him with Lanzini, the player who West Ham fans have said ain't the same player we've seen years ago. So that ain't going to work. So you're weakening the position to plan another. You know what's behind Haller is good enough. Mate, he needs a goal. A goal and confidence, and the man will be all right. That's my opinion. He got that goal at Sheffield United. He had his confidence shot to pieces the following game being dropped. If Diop gets put up front instead of him, he should never wear a West Ham shirt again out of his choice. In desperate times. He should never, ever, ever go and say, all right, I'll play that role for you today, Gaffer, if he plays Diop up there. I don't think he will. I don't think that whatsoever. That side has to be the same against Crystal Palace. There's no one else that can get in there. They've all done enough to warrant their start against Crystal Palace Wednesday, in my opinion.
And that's fine, and I get that. Is there not an argument that you don't have to start with a big man up front, and Haller don't play like a big man? Could you get away with playing a Bowen, Benrahma and Fornals front three?
You could, but then what you're going to do is you're going to weaken your width. And when you weaken your width, you're leaving your fullbacks exposed. The same fullback in Aaron Cresswell, who everyone said was never a left back at West Ham no more, because he had nothing in front of him. So all you're doing is you're weakening the team around it. Why are we going to do that? It worked. It was strong. I didn't know how. In my opinion, I didn't think it was going to work the weekend or Friday. It worked because it was the the four at the back, and do you remember I said it was all about the defensive midfielder covering both fullbacks, which Declan Rice done. So you had the four at the back, the two, the three, and the one. And all that happened was the two wide of the three made sure they covered, and behind them you had Rice or Souček, mainly Rice, covering across the line the entire time. Simple, mate. If you do it right and organise and have cover, you've got every single chance of getting it right.
Yeah.
Adam, I do remember Rio up front against Blackburn. I also remember Les Sealy up front against Arsenal. Not remember when we put Les Sealy, our goalkeeper, up front at Highbury. Yeah. The late Les Sealy as well.
The West Ham we all know and love, mate.
And Doodle.
We'll take some questions, I suppose, mate, because we've obviously jumped on after the Leeds game, so we've got nothing to cover there. We've spoken a bit about Palace, so just see if anyone's got anything they want to fire at us, and we'll answer some of the bits from the chat.
There was a question here about Josh King, and we want him and he ain't played for Bournemouth. I think there's a reason he ain't played for Bournemouth. I think that's because he wants out. Wouldn't surprise me if his contract was something to do with appearance money. I also heard that he had an injury early on in the season. I don't know if he's still got that. I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't read too much into why Josh King isn't playing for Bournemouth. But the one at Bournemouth that goes missing, don't get spoke about, who I think's a top player, is Brooks. I think he's a great little player.
Well, I'm quite surprised at, mate, is we've got a window coming up right round the corner. Normally transfer rumours would be rife, and normally we'd be putting out loads of stuff at the moment. We're seeing nothing at all, really. We're not linked with hardly anyone.
No, mate, no. Kent, you're right. Yeah, mate, I was there. I remember it. No, we ain't linked with anyone. But, you know, the story's come out already from the ITKs at the club that there's going to be no transfer budget in January. Could you imagine if West Ham were linked with all these players now? And this is the problem.
Yeah,
so
but even when we're not going to spend, we normally are. Normally,
there'll be fake links. There's fake links. There is fake links. But the links we only ever want to take note of are the ones that come out of the people at the club who are told to put them out, because they're the ones you know are true. Not being rude, when someone, for argument's sake, like one of the newspapers comes out and put West Ham are interested in whoever, it's never really got much of a backbone. The only time they come out with these stories is after it's across West Ham social media, maybe from someone like X or Claret and Hugh who have put out the rumour. You know, and there's a reason why they put their rumour out, because you know where it's come from, someone at the club.
Yeah. Right, well, so would you take Lingard on loan? I think that's exactly the type of player we don't need, and I think that's the sort of player that Moyes would hate. Just no commitment, no energy, no work rate. I think, you know, he's completely wrong for what we're building at the moment.
Ability, yes. Attitude, no. It's another Ravel Morrison, mate. That's the problem. You don't get enough out of him, you know. Alex Ferguson weren't an idiot. You know, he knew what he was doing with Ravel Morrison, gave him the option. Pick your gang life or your football life, and he chose his gang life. Signed for West Ham, we thought we had a player who's going to be here for years and be the biggest thing. Messed around. Wore opposition football shirts in his car. Jesse Lingard would be the same. Mate, the same with, there you go, there's another, just about to say it, Dele Alli. It's another one. Ability, 100% all day long. But the problem with them, it's just their attitude. And
mate, it's too much money, too young. That's what it is. And they get well ahead of themselves.
It's also bad advice, mate. And there's a reason why we, as West Ham fans, are watching someone like Declan Rice be so committed to his football career and not the social media side of life. Because he's advised correctly and he's level-headed. These people ain't. There's no way Jesse Lingard and Dele Alli have got good advisors. No way.
In fairness, Declan Rice has had nowhere near the money that Lingard has had at the same age, and same with other players. I think players like Lingard and that, mate, have just had too much too young. They've just had life too easy, well too easy, and they've got no reality check there, mate. So I don't know. I just think they're soft round the edges because, you know, they come up through that academy at United. They're given everything on a plate for them, wrapped in cotton wool, and yeah, they're just soft players, mate.
Mate, that's an interesting point. My mate Greg over in Spain has just put here. Apparently, they ain't been talking to X or any other sources. He read yesterday. Hope you're well, mate. Hope the family well. Where did you read that, Greg, out of interest? I don't read a lot of social media no more, to be honest. So I haven't seen that. Where did you see that? I'd be interested to know that.
This is one that I would have liked to have seen. Would Ivan Toney suit West Ham? I think he'd be...
Yeah, I think so.
a good player for us, mate. I really do.
Yeah.
This is the big question at the moment, really, because this one's banded around so much. Is King good enough for West Ham?
I think he's good enough. Yeah, I do think that. But again, it will depend on where he's played, wouldn't it, and how he's played. And let's be real, and I mean this with all respect. I'm going to use someone like, I need to think of a little forward. Who's a little forward who's scoring goals in the Premier League? So I'm thinking of someone help me out here, who ain't a big target man, ain't a workhorse. I'll use him because he played for us before. Javier Hernandez, he's plenty good enough to play for West Ham. What he ain't, he's good enough to play the West Ham style that we're playing under David Moyes. Danny Ings has got a bit about him. I would have used him, but he's got a bit about him. So they are plenty good enough, but the role that David Moyes will want out of his forward is what we see out of Antonio. The work rate, the strength, the power, the pace. Not every forward offers you that. We haven't got that with Haller. We're seeing that. That's why he's picked holes in every single week. But Sam Zini's put Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson runs for 90 minutes. And this is why I said, and this is why he was a West Ham player for me, a proven goal scorer at this level as well. And this is one we've missed. Diego Jota, he wouldn't suit West Ham, not in a million years.
No.
But he's a top player.
I actually think we've got the personnel to play the way that Liverpool play now, with having that sort of false nine in the middle and having the players out wide that can cut in and become more of a goal-scoring threat. And I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I don't think Moyes will ever want to play that way. So it's a shame. But
the thing for me with Liverpool, I've got to be honest, it's going to sound stupid because they won the league. I don't think they're a great sight to watch. But what they do is they play to their strengths. And their strengths, they've got two very, very good, energetic and fast fullbacks and three very good forwards. Their midfield ain't great. That's no disrespect to Wijnaldum, Henderson and whoever else plays. They're Milner now and then. Their midfield ain't great. And they overskip them because it's the wider players that win their matches. West Ham couldn't do that, mate. Not with Cresswell and Kufau. Possibly with Bowen and Fornals or Ben Rama out on the wing. But I think to play that way, you have to have two real good fullbacks. Real good. And that's what I think when you see it, the likes of Barcelona all them years ago, they had it across the entire pitch. But their fullbacks, how many times did you used to watch Barcelona and say, how big do they make this pitch? How do they find that space on that touchline? And that's what their fullbacks done every single time. And Sam Zini's put there. Fulham, I thought Fulham was superb yesterday. So well organised.
Which is a bit of a change for them, mate, because they haven't looked particular. Well, I don't know how to say that. They've had glimpses, haven't they? Every game they've had glimpses, spells where they've looked good, but never been able to do it for 90 minutes. So maybe Scotty Parker's trying to get that right now.
Yeah. I think, I'll be honest, again, I said it earlier, I think they was unlucky against us. Silly penalty last minute, and if any West Ham player done that, and fair play to Lookman because he's bounced back really well, but mate, all you want in that situation, away from home to nick a point, you just want a Julian Dix. Just put your laces through it. Don't even mess around. Just get it in the back of the net. If it hits the keeper, his hand probably ain't going to stop it anyway. And that's for me. For me, that's where Fulham still a bit naive. But credit to Parker, and I will say, because his side are properly having a go. They reminded me of Sheffield United last year. That's what I think with them. And Noel's just put, would we take Parker in a few years?
Yeah, I don't know whether I would or whether I wouldn't, mate, to be honest with you.
I think he's got a lot to prove still.
Too much to prove still for me to be considered. Well, too much, if I'm honest.
And again, it goes back to the ambition and the level of the football club, doesn't it? Without being rude, if David Moyes keeps pushing West Ham as he is at the moment, and we become a regular top 8 side, for argument's sake, Scott Parker ain't the next level from that. He ain't going to get you within that top 8. He ain't going to get you in the top 6, is he? Without being rude to him. So you'd need to go bigger and better again. Right now, I think what we need to do more than anything, and I think we're getting a bit of identity about our play now. We seem to know what it is. We need a bit of identity. We need the consistency. There shouldn't be any other talk or any talk of any other manager at West Ham for me for the next 3 years with how David Moyes is doing at the minute. And he needs backing. If he ain't backed, then I think he should walk as well. He's done enough right now to prove he should be backed by the owners of that football club. And he should get the players that he needs to improve his team and squad. That's what he needs. Nick, you and your AFC West Ham, it ain't ever going to happen. Forget it.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. It's a tough one for me. Like I say, I do like what Moyes has achieved, and I like what he's done. I just think it's a little bit too early to say back him fully. Let's see where we end up at the end of the season, and then let's make a decision from there. But certainly, mate, at the moment, I think the biggest thing is what you said. I think we have got a bit of identity now. I never knew what West Ham were for the last few years. It was all a bit of a mishmash, bit of a, I don't know what we were, but now we're a team that works hard. We're a team that's organised. We're a team that, does create chances now as well. Which, mate, I remember that spell we went through where we didn't have a shot on goal for games at a time. Do you know what I mean? It was ridiculous. Yeah. And you said now we're having 19 chances a match, even away from home. Like, I haven't seen that from West Ham in a long time.
No, and I said it, didn't I? As good as the win was, it's the things that come with it. You can go away from home and nick a 1-0 win, and it'd be an absolute torrid game. But, and not rude to him, like Burnley did yesterday at Arsenal. Now, it weren't a great game for either side. Not at all. But they got the 3 points. West Ham are getting 3 points and actually playing all right and having a go. Darren, thanks, mate. Nearly as good as your dancing last night on your Facebook video, I see. I hope you had a good birthday, buddy. So, yeah, mate, it's exciting. That they're having a go. They're having a... And I thought David Moyes was more naive than what we're seeing from our team. I did think that. And again, I will put my hands up and fair play to him. He's proved me wrong. I ain't afraid to admit when I'm wrong. And I just hope, and when I say back, I don't mean go and give him 200 million quid. Just let him keep adding every window. Even if it's 1 or 2 players, just let him add. And listen, we're West Ham fans. We've had this chat before, mate. We don't expect 50, 60 million pound players. Go and get 2 players like Kufau for 5 million who are going to fight and wear the shirt with pride and give you everything. That's perfect for us. We don't need to have Hallers and Andersons, 50 million pound players. We don't expect them. We don't want them. We've never had them. There was a question here about Mark Noble, about his 1-year contract.
Yeah, I saw that, and we said he was going to. We've spoke upon that before, how we should, move up top and be involved with some of the youngsters and that. I don't think there's anyone better to instill what West Ham's all about into young players and into, even new players who come into the club. He should definitely be in and around West Ham, and I think he'd want to be, not as management, but as someone who's, involved with the day-to-day runnings of the club. I think he definitely should be there.
He'll be there. He will be there 100%. And he will get the contract extension, that's for sure. Adam's right, the backroom staff do need a pat on the back. It's been superb. 2-year extension for Moyes, for Kent. Gareth, I think Gareth's right here when he's put someone who's proved to score in the Premier League in Pukki at Norwich. I think he's another player. Don't think he's perfect, but I think he's someone you'll get graft out of as well. James, that's sad news. Is that literally just happened?
Yeah, apparently so.
That's terrible news. Sad to hear that. Big G's in the building. Morning, Big G. He wants to know when he's going to cut your hair, Frankie.
Mate, I've done this myself.
The Big G wants to know when it's haircut and shave day.
It's no drama. Just get your beard shaver out and just get round the old sides, mate, and job done.
It's a drama when you like that, mate. That was a get the number 1 all out, or no 0 out on Friday night, I think, with the ump. Thursday. Anything else popping up?
Not really, mate. I mean, we've got Palace coming up this week, so we can do a bit more around that. Hopefully do a phone in as well, get a few people involved and get a few opinions and so on. So yeah, maybe we do a shorter one this morning, mate, and we come back when there's more to discuss.
Yeah, good shout. Just Andy's put a point here that we've touched on before. Do you think with no money in January rumours, do you think the owners won't bother buying anyone because we're doing okay? I don't think it's true, mate. I don't think that's the news. All I think is that's been put out there because I think it's, what was the word they used? I can't remember. They're counteracting the argument. I don't remember what the word was. I think West Ham will sign someone in January. 100% I do. I think it's clever from them because if they put out there all the links and then they don't get the player, they're going to look stupid. If they say there is no money and they get someone, then they're going to say, look what we've done. We've managed to deliver you another player and you're still unhappy, blah, blah, blah. So, AJ or Fury?
It's not even a question, is it? Like, that ain't, let's just...
Usyk all day.
Nothing. Usyk's all right, mate, but he's a cruiserweight. He's too small. We'd never be able to live with those two. I don't think. I think Joshua and Fury would be way too big for him. But Fury absolutely schools AJ. AJ the other night looked robotic, straight lines, just had nothing. I didn't see anything from AJ that would worry Fury. I think Fury would dance around him. I don't think AJ would land a punch on him, to be honest with you, mate. I really don't.
Thing is, if he does, he could hurt him because he can punch.
No, if you get caught by him, but Wilder was a massive puncher as well. I say much bigger on paper, but Joshua's fought better people in his career. But Wilder was a massive puncher, and that second fight didn't get anywhere near Tyson Fury, mate. So I just think it's an easy walkthrough through Fury. I think AJ's just so robotic, one-dimensional. I just don't think he's got anything that can trouble Fury whatsoever. And I'd love to see it as well, because I think AJ's been the biggest con in heavyweight boxing. And I'd always said that, and it was brilliant when he got ironed out by that fat Mexican, because, you know, it just exposed what he's really all about, which is not a very good fighter, mate. So, yeah, I'd love to see it.
Or person from his speech, he said back in the lockdown. Gav, any news on Diop Friday? Why he weren't on the bench? Not that I know of. I've not seen or heard anything, mate. Adam, yes, the game is on Amazon Wednesday. Andy, there's about 22 left for the raffle still, mate. I've literally just had one come through whilst we've been on here, I believe. So might be about 20. Frankie will Fury school AJ. West Ham playing off decent. They are. They will spend in January. I believe they will as well. Anything else we got missing? Anyone fancy Troy Deeney?
No, thanks.
I wouldn't want him personally, but
he
not
hates
now.
us with a passion.
Yeah.
I'll make him right. He is a Moyes type player, and
Yeah.
you know, I think with the system that we've got in, he would probably fit in very well. I just hate the bloke. And he hates us.
But I think he hates everyone and just loves the club and the fans he's at. And I think he'd love. But ain't that the same with all players? We had that with Julian Dix. Chelsea had it with Dennis Wise. I think they're all them sort of player. AJ thought of Paul Pulev. Who has the most power in the heavyweight division?
You have to say AJ, really, mate. That is one thing he has got. But then he did. I know he caught Pulev a couple of times, but I don't know.
Fury Joshua is like Stockport v West Ham. Tier 3 going into London, possibly Wednesday. No fans for the Palace game. I think it's going to happen as well. I was up there 4 days last week with work, and it was manic. I can't see it not going into Tier 3, if I'm honest.
No, it's coming, mate. It's coming for sure. It don't make any sense, though, over Christmas when they're going to lapse everything for 6 days anyway, so they might as well just wait to the new year now. But it is overtaking down here, mate. It's bad.
Let's touch on this because people have been putting on social media. We obviously see the pictures from Saturday night's fight with Declan Rice in with Joshua in the dressing room, in the crowd, Mayweather there as well, and people are saying about how he's been silly because of COVID times, etc. Now, I will say, the people he was pictured with, you and I and the entire world know, would have all been tested, would have all been safe. But would there have been an opportunity for others to have been there, got there, who maybe hadn't. Is it a bad thing he's done, do you think?
It's a tricky one, isn't it, mate? At the end of the day, life doesn't stop, and there's nothing wrong with him having a break away from football and taking his mind off things and going to something like that. I've got no issue with it. It was a very public place. There were people in that arena who wouldn't have been tested and are coming from a place where it's rife at the moment, mate. As a prime athlete, someone like Declan Rice, I don't think you've got any worry about him having an issue with the virus itself. However, if he did come back positive and we did miss him, I mean, it would be a massive loss to West Ham. So would I have rather him sitting indoors watching it on the old box, mate? Probably. But you can't stop people from living their life, and that's it. So, do you know what? It's actually good, because normally when things like that happen, people come out and there's loads of backlash and they get a load of stick and people slate them and say, what was you doing there? You're stupid, you're this, you're that. And actually, we didn't see any of that. I think everyone did accept it for what it is, which was, Declan going and enjoying himself and having a deserved break away from football. So I'm glad it went down like that and there wasn't that backlash that you normally see.
Yeah, and that's my point. And as I say, I don't think he's stupid either. I think wherever he sat would have been in an area, a segregation where no one could have got to. Only people that had been tested within the celebrity world, I suppose you could call it. I don't think for any money you and I could have gone and sat next to him. I don't believe that. I think you and I would have sat in a different area, ringside, but not next to him. Wouldn't have ever got into the dressing room, etc. So I put the post on my social media, and a couple of people did comment, silly boy doing this, etc. I don't think that. If he was in the normal part of the crowd, then I would say I agree. However, I don't think he's stupid, and I go back to what I said earlier. I don't think he's badly advised, and I think he would have been put in a safe area, kept in a safe area. And again, and I know AJ, for example, he would have been tested all week long because of his fight, and obviously people around him within the bubble. So I don't think there was any threat to him personally. And Darren's put on here, he's young lad living the dream, and fair play to him. But a bigger picture, I look at it and going back to COVID, not Declan Rice or Anthony Joshua, going back to COVID, this is what I can't get. Advertising things like this is everything that's wrong, and it's just showing that certain people can do certain things while others can't. And this is what, like you've just said, going to tier 3 when in 6 days or whatever, it's the date today, 12th, is it, 13th, 14th, 11 days time, just before that, we've got a big break. Go and do what you like for the next 5-6 days and enjoy your Christmas. Don't worry about the tiers, people. Just go and enjoy it. It's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But,
yeah, you're right, mate. You're right. But that is the point, isn't it? At the end of the day, that's the annoying thing. People like Mayweather can swan in there. People like Declan Rice can go to boxing. I can't. I had no chance of getting a ticket. Do you know what I mean? But, we're the people who live the tougher lives, the harder lives. What do we have? What do we get? Do you know what I mean?
And let's
at
be
the
real.
end of the day, we deserve a break and all.
And let's be real, nothing against them people, and good luck to them. That's the life they live. They wouldn't have paid for that either. You and I would have if we wanted to watch it on TV. And I didn't like that.
I actually think Eddie Hearn's done a lot for boxing. But what I didn't like is when he said, when boxing's back, we will sort out a load of people for the NHS. And then this time, because only 2,000 are allowed in, he comes out and gives it all there's only 2,000. We're not able to do it because it's not like there's tickets at a ticket office anymore, so I can't just go and take tickets. So we weren't able to do it for NHS this time, but we have contacted a few of them. Mate, that whole or however many thousand it was allowed in that venue should have only been NHS people, mate. If that's what you come out and said you was going to do, I don't think actually the NHS deserve special privileges. I think they've had it bloody hard, but there are a lot of other public services that have had it bloody hard as well. However, I think if you say something and you say, as soon as boxing's back, we're going to look after the NHS, well, those tickets should have gone to them way before Declan Rice, way before Floyd Poxy Mayweather. That's who it should have gone to, and given those people a day out and something to enjoy, because they've had it really difficult over this and put themselves at risk, mate. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that it went from a few thousand, like as soon as they're back, NHS people were going to be in there, to Eddie Hearn letting all his mates in. I don't think.
Yeah, of course. And it's just a publicity thing again, isn't it? And then I was about to say, when you watch a normal fight, now I know there's obviously a lot more people there normally. Somehow, where videos on social media come about from someone who's at the fight, who you may know or know someone who knows of someone who's there. The only videos I see from there that night was from celebrities. Everyone on their Instagram still. So I didn't see any Tom, Dick or Harry, a normal person, have that. Why not? What? And this is, for me, what I can't get. Darren's put on there as well. Again, talking sense today, Darren. You couldn't have had a big drink, mate. I thought you'd have had a heavy one for your birthday. Closing the big schools, leaving them open. That's where we know it's all come from. How can a school kid be all right to go to school for 6 hours a day, but can't go down the park, but can walk to and from school with his mates or her mates, but can't associate with them down the park after school, or couldn't go around each other's houses, but they've been with each other the whole day at school, walk to and from school with them. It's just all crap, mate. I can't get it. I just can't get it. Yeah, James, you're right, mate. And it'll be the same for the darts. 100%. It will be all celebrities throughout, mate.
Right then, mate. Should we wrap it up now?
Yeah, indeed. Let's leave on a positive. West Ham are 6th. Looking forward to a tough game Wednesday night against Crystal Palace. Win that, who knows? If we'd had a bit of luck in another couple of games, we could have been sitting in the top 4 now. But 6th is really good, really impressive. David Moyes, credit you. Done fantastic again Friday night. You lot, stay safe, keep well, and thanks for watching.
I'm forever blowing bubbles, pretty bubbles.